AITA for wanting to move out because my mom expects me to be her carer? My mom, 56F, has been diagnosed with breast cancer and is expecting me, 14M, to be her carer. I don't feel like I will be able to do this without it threatening my school grades. I also don't want to, as my mom has spent the past 4 years yelling and insulting me, as well as refusing to use my name and pronouns when I came out to her. I feel like I owe her nothing as she is one of the causes of my depression. I can move in with my dad and see her on weekends, which to me seems like a fair compromise. I know if I leave my mom will guilt trip me into returning full-time like she did when SHE kicked me out last year, and I just can't do that anymore. When I told my dad about this, he told me that I was being selfish but that he understood I didn't want to be her carer. My friend, who I thought would take my side, told me it was my responsibility to look after my mom and that it was fine because he cares for his grandparents. AITA for trashing the gift my girlfriend got me? Throw away. So me, 28M, and my GF, 30F, have been together for 8 years and we have been living together for 4 years. GF has always been the artsy type and always has some personal project going, but she has the tendency to get lost in her own world. We celebrated my birthday last weekend and she ended up getting me a pencil lengthier. I don't use pencils and the lengthier in question didn't even fit your typical number 2, it was purely for colored pencils, I also don't color. When she asked me if I liked it, I just quietly walked outside our home and tossed it in the trash. She was understandably upset and called me an awe for doing that, claiming that I could have at least tried it. Here's the thing, she has been doing things like this ever since we started living together. She has been gifting me things that she likes and ultimately ends up using them. For example, last year she got a packet of Sailor Moon stickers. I don't watch Sailor Moon and she ended up using them all. She also gifted me a jewelry box one time. I don't wear jewelry, so guess who's been using it all this time? First world problems at its finest. So it's been a few days and she's still upset and has even got both of our parents to berate me for trashing the gift. She even admitted she knew I would hate it and was planning on using it after I calmed down in a few days, a detail that she did share with others, but I am still getting name called. Am I really the awe? And #X200B, edit. Nearly every comment says we need to talk about this. The thing is we have and more than once. She admitted she does this because she wants something but decides to gift it to me to say, I tried. I asked if I gave her a wish list would that help and she said that she would never look at it, and well she didn't when I made and sent a netto her. She on the other hand does have a wish list which I do get her stuff from, and some of that stuff is actually expensive. AITA for no longer making my husband handmade gifts? I've always liked crafting and making stuff with my hands. It's been something that soothes me and helps me focus, even if it's as simple as basic knitting or doing origami while I watch TV. Sometimes I take classes for stuff like pottery making or ceramic glazing or drip painting or whatever else that catches my eye. I like to give gifts of the stuff I'm making to my loved ones. For example, when my 2 cousins told me they were pregnant, at the same time I made us all matching baby blankets and they loved them. My husband, however, has never really been into handmade stuff. He knows I enjoy it and he encourages me to do it. He'll pay for me to go to classes I've talked about, or my origami paper supply will magically refill itself in the basket. With my knitting supplies is always tidy even if I know I didn't put it back so carefully, but as for the actual things, they either disappear into his wardrobe until we do a spring clean or they'll go into the bin. So I stopped gifting him stuff I made mid-world shutdown. He likes gifts but only stuff from luxury brands or like spa days or something like that, so that's what I went with. This past weekend was Mother's Day and I made a little chocolates for all my mum friends. Husband started saying that I don't make things for him anymore. I explained to him the reasons above and said I don't make things for them to just get thrown into a bin liner, so I would rather not waste my time. ETA, I have also made him foodstuffs before, including his mum's recipes, which if someone is blind testing, the 2 versions are completely identical. I will spend all day or a couple days on it. He will eat 1 bite and the rest also ends up in the bin. He got all quiet and said he didn't realize he was a waste of my time. He hasn't said anything again, but he's been weird all week. So IDK was AITA for eating out every day and not bringing home food to share? When I was in high school, I was friends with a popular girl, Madison. I am not a nice guy, and we were honestly friends. She was out of my league and he never had any thoughts about a relationship with her. We remained friends when I went away to university and I was happy for her when she got married. I work for a tech company now. Not one of the FAANG companies, but they still provide some really cool stuff for their employees. Our cafeteria is free and open 24 hours a day. We can eat all our meals there if we want. They have a nutritionist that makes sure the meals are tasty and healthy. I take advantage of the food on a fairly regular basis, but I still keep food at my apartment to make myself meals I learned to make from my dad. And I keep Fruit Loops, which the cafeteria does not stock. 5 weeks ago, Madison left her husband and asked if she could stay with me while she figured stuff out. I agreed since I have a spare room and we are friends. I thought it was a more temporary thing. She has a job and I think she has access to a joint account with her husband. I thought she would be here for a couple of weeks, then go to her folks or settle her problems with her husband. Instead, she has been in my house other than to work. She ate all my food in the fridge and pantry. I went grocery shopping once so far, but she ate everything again and didn't offer to pay to replace it. I asked her when she was going to be moving on, but she says she doesn't know. I asked her for some money for groceries and she said she hasn't been paid. It's been 5 weeks. I don't think anyone holds back wages that long. So last week, instead of going to Whole Foods, I just started eating all my meals either at work or at a restaurant on the way home. She asked me when I was going shopping, but I said I was too busy with work. She offered to go shopping for us if I gave her the money. I said I was too busy to cook food at home. She is saying that I'm an AmItheAsshole for trying to use food to control her or too cheap to help her out. She thinks I'm trying to be with her. I'm already not charging her rent, and I honestly wouldn't be with her with a stolen ick. She is still beautiful, but I'm seeing a side of Harry never saw before. AITA for reminding my relatives not to touch my stuff because of what they did last time. I live on the West Coast and I regularly host my relatives from the East Coast and Europe. I love the backcountry here, and showing it off to me relatives is one of my favorite things to do. I'm a geologist for a mining outfit, so I have all kinds of equipment and training. My uncle from Germany brought his family here before COVID and we had a great visit until one of my cousins started looking through my garage when we were packing up for a short camping trip. I made sure that they were all aware of the reasons for using bug spray. Beyond mosquitoes, we have ticks in the area and long pants are the best way to avoid them, but insect repellent is also a good idea. My idiot cousin found my bear spray and thought she might like to try and give herself a nice coating to be safe from bears. If you do not know, bear spray isn't meant to be worn as a topical application. You spray it at a bear's face to get it to ugger off. She ended up coughing her lungs out and covered in all the milk products in my house. Plus some extra that my wife had to go buy. And every once in a while I will move something in my garage and catch a whiff of the capsaicin. My cousin wants to come back for a visit now. I was reluctant. She asked me why and I reminded her of her last visit to my home 4 years ago. I asked if she had gotten better about keeping her hands to herself. I guess her and her boyfriend share the Facebook account that she contacted me from. He asked what I was talking about. So I told him what she did. Now her dad is mad at me for bringing up a stupid mistake. She is mad at me because her boyfriend is laughing at her. And my wife is mad at me for sharing family information. I wasn't trying to embarrass her. I just hate how much time and effort I had to put in to clean my garage and my gear. AITA for cutting the line for the bathroom. Went to a concert last night. Yes, that concert. I'm a guy, so there is usually never a line for the bathroom. Between Paramore and Taylor, I decided to use the bathroom real quick. I saw a line of women and figured they were in 4 women's bathroom. So I said excuse me and pushed past them. I heard a bunch of people say, hey, or whoa, and kept walking. I was inside and of women continued as I headed to the wall of urinals, which no one was at. A woman near the front of the line said, excuse me, there's a line. I said, okay, well, I'm going to use the urinal and there's not one for that. She said, I don't care. There's a line. Wait in the line like everyone else. I said, no, I'm not going to do that, since again, there's no one using the urinal. And went and started to go towards the urinal. The woman said presumably to her friend, I'll be right back. I'm going to get security to deal with this jerk. Security wasn't there by the time I had washed my hands, so I just left and no one stopped me. They said I did something bad, but did I really? Totally fine that women were using the mean bathroom, but did I really have to wait in line for something that wasn't being used? AITA for choosing an adults-only hotel for our destination wedding. Ta account. Was originally going to ask about another situation, hence the name, but that resolved. I'll be as succinct as possible. My newly engaged fiancé and I are getting married in November in Mexico. We live in NY, but I am a second-gen immigrant, so we picked a destination wedding so my extended family could easily join without visa issues. We called today to tell my fiancé's brother and sister-in-law we're getting married in Mexico at an adults-only hotel. They have 2 kids, 11 and 4. Sil said she doesn't have anyone to watch the kids, so they can't come. We understood, but said since it's March and they have several months, maybe they John figure out a plan? She then added her work schedule couldn't allow it either. My fiancé asked if his brother could still come as he really wanted his family there. Besides his brother, he only has a grandfather who is coming. And then Sil said it was inconsiderate that we picked a hotel that wouldn't allow her kids and her husband wouldn't take a trip internationally without them since they've never taken a family trip out of the country. The kids were in the background and could be heard yelling, "Let's all go to Mexico, I want to go." Then she abruptly got silent and hung up. I feel bad they can't join, and briefly debated finding a new hotel, but I really like this hotel and we've already paid a deposit. AITA for not wanting to change hotels and stick to adults only even if that means my Sil can't attend? Adult note, they are legally not married, we just refer to her as Sil. She has always wanted to get married at a destination wedding, so my fiancé thinks this is another reason she's being grouchy towards us. ETA. Willing to take constructive feedback, but anyone labeling me an off for a destination wedding, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry for that. There's an entire industry of destination weddings. I should have added we even offered to add them to Airbnb that some of my family chose to stay nearby so that the kids could come on vacation. But then it became about them missing out on the all-inclusive part. There was no pestering. We had a 5-min convo and tried to offer alternatives.